what is there under the main directory is under USR SAP. There's one more directory which is used by SAP installation, that is called /SAP MNT. We call SAP mount. So under SAP mount, similarly, you will see different SIDs for each system. It will create one directory here as well. So we call this as work directory, USR SAP SID work directory. And this mount directory will be SAP MNT /SAP MNT. Going into each say yes, similarly it will have a different directory structure, exe, global, and profile. So I'll tell you what each one has. This exe directory is same as this binary SAP kernel. It has the same SAP kernel. So in both the directories, in fact, have same files. So what is the reason for but having two directories having same is this SAP here in this case there is only one server, one application server. Consider there are multiple application servers, like we have 3 application servers. What happens is when we update kernel or something, we update the kernel only here. We update any so we update, if we want to update some kernel, we change some kernel files. We go and update the files in this location. So we will not touch this exe directory manually. What happens is when SAP starts, what happens is SAP process will compare this directory with this directory, and if it sees this directory as latest file, it will copy files from here to this user SAP location. So each time when SAP starts, it will go and check this directory, SAP SAD exe directory, and if there is the kernel version in this directory is newer than this location, then it will copy the files from here to here. If both the versions are same, it will not do anything. So this is where we have the binaries. Global is somewhat what we can say. It's like a shared directory between which will be used. The main reason is if there are multiple application servers and there are some files that will be commonly accessed by all 3 application servers. Some log files will be commonly accessed by all 3 application servers. So those kind of files will be under global directory. And profile directory is something called where we have the SAP profile parameter files. I'll go and show what is there in this profile parameter files. Profile parameter is something like how we define how it's like what do you say, a configuration kind of file for SAP application, like how we want to run this SAP. Here for example, here we have like 40 work process, right? This input we given this profile parameter, how many work process I want, how many type of work process I want, how much memory I want to allocate. It's called something similar to a configuration file. I think there will be some session for particularly for profile files. There we can see in detail what each profile parameter has. I think it should be there. It's not there. Okay, it's not that we can discuss it. We can just have an overview now. So let's take the profile directory then. SAP. So there are three types of now in new version. There's only two. Instance profile. So default profile will have name .pfl. Have name SAD underscore instance name underscore instance number .pfl. So if you compare this, you can see. So default will be always any system. It will be the same. It will be having the same name default.pfl. But for instance profile, then
Prasanna, you are on mute.
oh sorry. Okay. So if you see, there will be a default profile and instance profile. Default profile is which is with as parameters which is common for the entire system. Entire system means there could be multiple application servers. Here in our example, we have only one service. If you see for a larger system, you'll be having multiple. I think I disconnected. Maybe I'll show you a system where here if you see there is only one server for this. So but not won't be there's only one AS instance. For some system, if you see there will be multiple servers. I'll show you one example where there are multiple servers. if you see this system, there are 3 servers. So this is since this is production, it has more load. So they have installed 3 servers. So that it is able to handle more user load. So in this case, in either cases, if you see this, this default, this is the default profile, default.pfl. This has some parameters which is applicable to all the servers, whichever is there is running on the system. Then there is something called instance profile. So if you see the name, this is the server name. I think I show you do what the naming convention right for it. It will be having SOD, the instance name. Instance names come from here. Like what is the instance name? Then instance number. I mean, sorry. This would be like not instance name. It will be host. I wrote it wrongly. So this is the naming convention for the instance profile. SID instance name underscore the host name. So if you have like multiple servers, in this case, there will be, since there are 3 servers for this system, there will be 3 instance profiles. Here there is only 1 instance profile. These .1, .2, these files, ignore these files. These are all like old files. What happens is when this file is getting updated, if there is any changes that has been made to this file, what SAP does it will copy this file to a it's like taking a backup of this file, and it will add some extension and start writing to this file. So if I'm making some changes here, what it does, it will copy to SOD.1 and then make these changes. That is because if in case if you want to revert back to the old values, then we can go and refer to the old files. That's the reason you see multiple files. So you'll have default profile and instance profile. Instance profile is one for each application server. So what instance profile has is have parameter values which is specific to this particular instance. So we have a flexibility to have each instance profile to have different values. So if I want, there are 3 parameter files. Whatever value I want to this instance to have, I'll maintain that parameter file. Similarly, I can maintain a different value and run this server accordingly in a different way. Maybe I can have different number of work process in this, and the third server I can have a different number of work process and memory. So there will be for each instance there will be a separate instance profile, and there could be cases. I'll just log into one server and show you what the contents. Okay, this is DB server.
And for this particular instance, default profile will also work, right?
Sorry, again.
For this particular instance which you have shown these 3 default profile will also work.
Yeah, default profile will also be. I'll log into the server and show you. You see this one. Where there are 3 servers, you could see there is one default profile, and there will be 3 okay,
3 instance profile.
3 instance profile. This one is for this 10 instance number 10 and app01. There will be one under 20 and one for 30. There will be 3 instance profiles. There will be only one default profile. So if I open one instance, I'll just show you what can be inside this. Here we define something we can define, like I want to use this much memory here. I think was okay. Here, see, here I can define like how many dialog work process I want, how many batch work process I want. So here we have defined it as 20. So since I have defined it as 20, 20 dialog work process. See, there are 20 dialog work process, 0 to 19. Similarly, batch I have defined it as 15, so there will be 15. So this is how we give inputs how I want to run the system. These parameters we can give in default and instance profile. So if I want to maintain some parameters that should be common across all 3 servers, I can maintain it under default profile. If some parameter I want to be different, this server has a different value and this server a different value, I maintain it individually on each of the instance profile. And take for instance, there is a parameter which is maintained both in default and instance profile. So in that case, what happens is whatever is maintained in the instance profile will take higher precedence. It is common to all application servers. If a parameter both an instance profile value maintained in instance will have a so if I'm maintaining this number of dialog work process, I will maintain it both in default profile and instance profile. But in default profile, something in default I maintain it as 20, and instance I maintain it as 10. So what happens is it will take only value from instance. Because whatever is there in instance overrides what is there in the default. If I am removing this. If I'm removing this from the instance, I removed it, then it will take the value from the default profile.
Okay, if the parameter name is same.
Yes.
Okay.
These are all fixed names. If I want to define number of dialog work process, this parameter name should be the same. If we are maintaining a different name, SAP will not recognize. So this is the
and how we are going to make our instance to profile if we want to make an instance profile for a particular instance.
When you install a system, these files will be automatically generated. So when you do an installation, it will be generated with default values. We will not be creating these files manually. It will have some default values. So we can run with the default value, system will run, okay. But in case we are not, if you want to change the values, then we change the values here. We just change the values, or if some parameters will not, we can add some new profiles, parameter and all here. If you want to make some modifications. I think profiles, I think that we can discuss in detail. That's a separate session, how to change the profile parameter and all. So just to give an idea about the directory structure and this under SAP MNT, under profile, we have the SAP profile parameters. Just for now, remember there will be two profiles, default profile and instance profile. If you refer some old documentations, I think on the PDF I shared you, there they would have mentioned like three profiles. One is default, other is start, other is instance. That's for older version of the system. It was like that before, but now for whenever when we install new systems, it will be like only default and instance. So remember this one, default and instance only. Yes. Okay, so we saw about the SAP files. Now let's go and see how database looks like. So this is the database server. Similar to SAP, where we install USR SAP. For database, we have kind of default mount points or locations where we install the database. It differs from database to database. This in Sybase. Since Sybase, you see something called everything will be installed under dash Sybase and SID, something like SOD or something. For HANA database, if it's a HANA database, it will be /HANA /SID, something like that. It will be there. If it's Oracle database, it will be something /Oracle. It will be installed under this location. So it differs from vendor database to database. It differs. So based on the database we are going to use, we will be choosing the mount points in advance with that particular name. So let's not go into details of what is inside Sybase and all. It's not important at this point. Maybe you can learn it later. So this is the general database structure. For it, this differs within depending on the database you use. Okay. Then I think. Analyzing SAP issues. Okay, we will just have see again. I think we discussed it something before. We will again discuss it, like analyzing SAP issues. Like if there is a problem in SAP, someone is reporting some problem, or there is something on a problem. So when SAP system is running, so what the main places to check is, one is this SM50 transaction. We can come and check here. So if there is any free, everything is occupied, if there is any free work process, if something is running for a long time, here you see the time column, there is something, it has the number of seconds this process is running. Here we can come and check, like if there is any process which is running for a long time. So this is one place we can come and check. Then the other two transactions I told you another day, SM. And one more thing is, if you come to this SM50, you see only for this application server you logged in. Maybe I'll take this example. There are 3 servers. If I go to SM51, so this is SM51. If I go to SM50, you'll see details of only one application server where I have logged in. This app 0110. If I want to see all 3 servers in one screen, I go to there's a transaction called SM66. So here I see details of all 3 servers, 10, 20, 30. So I see everything here. This is one place. The first place we come and check here. Then, as I told you, we go and check the SM21 system logs. Here you can go and check if we find any error messages in these logs. Another is the ABAP dumps I told you about, ST22. We go and check the if you see yesterday, there are a lot of 234 dumps are there. This is something not common, something we have to check. Usually these many dumps should not come on a system. yesterday there was a problem on this system, so like we see like 234 dumps as generated on this system. So this is one place we can find us easily find that okay, there's something wrong with the system because there are a lot of dumps that is getting created. Then another thing I think Arun told you about the NQ process. We can go and check the log entries. If there are any problem with the logging mechanism, we can come and check here. Just you can do a list and check. If there are many logs in a hung state or something, we can come and check. Then there is a transaction, something called ST02. Here 03N. ST03N. Here we come and see like what is the response time. Here we can come and see like what is the response time for an user. If user is telling, okay, I entered something and I executed it, but it usually takes only like 30 seconds for me to see the screen. But now I see like 3-4 minutes for it to come. So now we can still like come and check is the user is there a real problem in the system? We can come and check. So what is the response time? It will give it will not give for individual users in the screen. It will tell like overall what is the response time for this system, something that this is one place we can check. So these are things we can troubleshoot, a basic level troubleshooting in SAP. Sometimes what happens is the next level of troubleshooting is we can go and check in. Sometimes the system will not be system is down. For some reason, the system is not even starting up. Something has happened on the system and system has crashed and system has gone down. Then there is no SAP to server running to log in and check. So then we go and check at the operating system level. So we go to the operating system level and we check the place where we can check for logs is this location which I told you before. The work directory. This is the directory where the log files are written. So in this case, it will be how I go is I will go to USR SAP by default. This is default. Then the 3-character system name. Then the instance directory. In newer systems, it will be like D01. If I check this system, which is a newer version. You see it as just D01. In older versions, it will be like DV, BM, GS01. Here it will be only like D, the instance number 10, 20. This number can be anything. This is what we configure when we install the system. So we go inside this. And we go to work directory. So here we come and check the logs. If some system is not coming up, then we check the logs here. Okay. So this is the basic troubleshooting we do for SAP. I think I was around there. Arun, you want to add something, Arun, on these topics? Or you want to cover anything else? Arun? I think he's... Arun, you're on mute. Okay. I think Arun is away. Okay, so far today, do you have any doubts on this?
No.
Okay. But I think it's enough for today.
In the troubleshooting roadmap, we have covered only first topic, analyzing SAP issues.
And this one we like file
There
system structure also we had, right? Just a minute. I'll be back.